we got notes. I'm going to share this. Survey says, all right, cool. I think all things are working on. I think we're good. You got people jumping in here. Thank you all for joining us on our July brokers meeting. I know many people are out of town. And I know this is it's timing of this is the day before a holiday, obviously, but I appreciate you tuning in. Lots of good stuff to share. Always is every month. There seems to be it's obviously a changing market, a changing industry. And I think it's always good to stay on top of things. So I appreciate all of you tuning in. As Don said as well, we'll say it again at the end. We know that we're all working at different stages, but we wish you all a very happy Independence Day weekend as well. So, and safe. All right, coming up. All right. So again, just a little rundown, do a market update. Some welcome to the families. Our smart partners are here. I see Tammy here. And anybody else here, we'll say hi to them. And we may or may not follow this to a T. So this was one that I wanted to share. Vara shared this with me as well. HomeSmart is really working on getting a lot of media attention lately, whether it be Risk Media or Inman or whatever, article after article talking about our brokerage, which is only going to be helpful, help us in the long run of having name ID in our market, of knowing who HomeSmart is. And so I thought this article was interesting about, is this the best brokerage brand you've never heard of, right? And that's kind of one of the things we're working on now is getting more brand ID in all of our markets. So I think this is only helpful. This was obviously last month. And a couple of things here. This was last month when they were quoting the article. It says, with roughly 25,000 of brokerage and franchise operations, HomeSmart now ranks number 12 on the T360 Mega 1000 ranking of top brokerages by sales volume and number 10 among franchise brands. And a steady under-the-radar growth and widespread adoption of proprietary tech position, it is one of the strongest national real estate brands in the country. And it goes on to say, as they're shifting with the marketing design center and all the stuff, we're growing. And I think that it's all going to be good going forward. So you've all chosen, I think, well, to partner with what I think will be a great opportunity in the future for us. So, okay. Got those done. Thank you. All right. And then, of course, I saw this came over for those that are platinum members. Just a heads up that the price is going up for platinum membership in HER. It still doesn't make sense to me that you have to pay for a standard membership and a platinum membership versus just one, but it is going up. So just so you're aware, October 1st. All right. And this month, we always like to welcome our new to HomeSmart or returning to HomeSmart agents. This is the ones that came over in the month of June, obviously Feng Tran. Paulette came back from Mercado, brought back her husband with her. To join us. She left for a little bit and came back to us. So welcome back. Jocelyn and Chelsea, Javier, Francisco's, of course, Paulette's husband. Laurel came back. Moaz, Oase, Julian, Justin, Elizabeth, Maynor, Felicia, Gilpin, and I can't pronounce your name, Olinkba. Anyway, I'll blow it for you, but thank you and welcome to HomeSmart. We appreciate everybody that finds this as our new HomeSmart family. Okay, welcome to the family. All right. And I put the slide in last month. I just think it's one of the, there you go, Javier. It's important to know there's a lot of resources if you're new to HomeSmart. And if you've been active but not engaged, we have an onboarding process now that corporate put together that tells you basically how to get connected, how to get started here at HomeSmart. We've got an orientation that happens here once a month in person with Crystal and our team. Don does a contracts 101 on the fourth Tuesday of every month. We have a free clock hour class we provide to all of our agents every second Wednesday. So if you want for your license renewal or just learning the business, it's provided to you at no cost. We have our Smart Starter available in Royal Smart Agent. We have Elevate 23 and 24, and now Elevate 2025 is coming. That's all about on-demand videos on how to grow and keep your business. So basically how to build a business that lasts in the industry. We have a bi-weekly coffee talk with the broker team, and that's been fantastic lately with the addition of me and Don there. Bi-weekly Friday fundamentals. Those continue every other Friday. Those are talking about best processes, contracts, a form, whatever it may be. These are all recorded for your consumption later on. Just want to make sure you know that. Mentorship, Don's going to talk about that shortly, but we have a mentorship opportunity for you if you are returning to the business, brand new to the business, and you just need additional help, we have someone who can assign a mentor to you. Teams, we have a great place for teams. Obviously, you have your broker team, broker line, broker email. We have commercial team meetings, events, and everything else. So under the sun, there's a lot of resources here that you wouldn't expect on a flat fee brokerage. And another one of those reasons why we're growing as fast as we are. So just a reminder to us all. All right. And of course, I put this in last month as well, just to make sure that you know that you have a picture to a name. I love Crystal's picture there. It's like a glamour shot back there. And Dawn's as well. This is your team. I'm a broker. Dawn's my assistant broker. Cecilia does broker review. You hardly see her, but she's there. Our services person and Crystal. And we are still in the process of hiring another admin person. So we'll let you know who they are when we get them. All right. Now, usually we have Brittany here to introduce our smart partners. And she is off today on vacation. So we're going to go without Brittany. But you can find out about all our smart partners using the QR code there. Any question whatsoever, save this, go there. You can get their contact and reach out to them. Of course, many of them joined us on the call. And of course, I'm going to go through the list here. And then I know Tammy's here to join us. I'll have her speak in a second. But we have Patriot Commission, our very own commission advance company that we work with. We allow several others to use, but Patriot Commission is not only affiliated, but is part of us. We've got Movement Mortgage. And do we have Dustin on the call today? No? Okay. Dustin and Jeff over there, Movement Mortgage, they're helping us a lot with the training room and so forth going forward. And they did a great training with Robbie the other day. And they got another one coming up that we'll have next month. We have Muscular Movement and Storage. Anybody from Muscular Movement on the call? Give them the checks. Okay. Now, nationwide partner with HomeSmart. So long distance and short distance moves. We've got Move Concierge. Do we have anybody from Move on the call? This is the one that for all of our agents, especially the newer agents, in your Real Smart agent profile, and you set up a transaction for a client, there is a box you can uncheck. It starts checked automatically, which basically when you have a sale, Move Concierge will reach out to your client on your behalf and offer to set up services, utility services, internet, and whatever, at no cost to your client as a way to assist them. And obviously there's that's how they make money, but it's a great service. And the majority of the clients really appreciate the fact that you are providing this service to them. Now, in some cases where you don't want them to contact your client, just uncheck the box and that will be opted out for you. But you have to actually uncheck it to opt out of this service. All right, there we go. I know Tammy's here. So HWA Home Warranty of America. Tammy, what do you got? Anything to say for us?
Good morning. Happy Independence Day tomorrow. Very exciting day for me because I was having a child 32 years ago, actually 33. So HWA Home Warranty. Love working for this company, and I'm here for you if you guys need anything in reference to home warranty. We have several tools. We have door hangers that you can put on doors if you like to do the door hanging. There's just a place to put your card. So we like to make that very easy and cost effective for you. We have free seller's coverage, which is awesome. You should definitely get that because it's another thing in your tool bag you can offer to your clients as well. But please reach out to me if you have any questions.
And Tammy, didn't you say something about open houses too?
Yes, open houses are a big thing right now. The houses are staying on the market a little bit longer. So, we're having to do the open houses, and I'm there to help facilitate that. If you want to do a broker's open house during the week, I can help coordinate a few team members like inspection company, title company to get involved, and we can bring goodies in. We can do door prizes, anything to help you move that house. And then we're also having a photo shoot July 17th. Big deal. It's going to be a lot of fun. My photographer does amazing pictures. This is free for the agents, and we have plenty of open spaces at this point.
Wonderful. Because the first two sold out, not sold out, or booked up quickly. So that's awesome.
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Is Angela here today or just you, Tammy?
Angela is not. Unfortunately, she couldn't be on the call. She had a meeting this morning.
No problem.
Yep.
You represent HWA Home Warranty very well. Thank you for your help.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right. And we'll talk about that picture event here shortly as well. American Home Shield, are you here? Again, most are probably taking a vacation day. So thank you for working, Tammy. All right. And then, of course, our we see this in all our emails. This is our group of local sponsors that help us put on events, help us provide the CE training to you, help us hold these lifestyle picture events, and so on and so on. So without them, we couldn't do as much as we do for our agents. Okay. Here's our national partners as well. There are in every market, okay, including Reminder Media. And this is an email that you all got yesterday. Many of you may not have seen it yet. But I wanted to share this with you as well. They keep on updating and tweaking Real Smart Agent and Marketing Design Center. And now you have an AI tool where you can basically edit with AI your pictures for your listings. This will say edited by AI, but you can stage a home, you can stage a room, you can change the sky and so forth. It's pretty cool that it's all integrated into our Real Smart Agent. So I want to show you a little bit of demo. And I'm hoping, Dawn, that the sound will play. So let me know if it does or doesn't, Dawn. You hear that?
Yep, can hear it.
Today I will walk you through how to use the AI Home Design feature in RSA. To use the AI Home Design feature, ensure that you have a listing file in RSA. First, we will need to log into RSA, click on Transaction, then click on Listings. Click on the listing file you want to work with, then click Transaction Details. Click Photos. Click Select, and then select the photos you would like to edit, and then click Edit with AI. Select the photo, and then you will be taken to the screen you can edit the photo on. AI Home Design allows you to do AI Virtual Staging, AI Data Desk, AI Item Removal, and AI Image Enhancement. Select which AI editing feature you would like to use. Today we'll start with AI Virtual Staging. Select what space it is, and then select the style. Select whether you would like to remove the furniture or not, and then click Generate. The system will create multiple AI stage versions of the photo. Choose your favorite, click Ready for Export, then click Done. Now let's go through how to use the AI Data Desk. Select the photo, then click AI Data Desk. Select the sky style. Select if you would like shadow removal or lawn replacement, and then click Generate. The system will create multiple AI stage versions of the photo. Choose your favorite, click Ready for Export, then click Done. Now let's go through item removal. Click the photo, and then click AI Item Removal. Select whether you want to do the whole room or mask items. If you select the whole room, it automatically detects the furniture and declutters the room. If you click Mask Items, you will have to draw around the items you would like to remove on your screen. Then click Generate. The system will create multiple AI stage versions of the photo. Choose your favorite, click Ready for Export, then click Done. And lastly, let's go through the AI Image Enhancement. Select the photo and click AI Image Enhancement. Select whether it's an indoor or outdoor photo and choose which enhancements you would like. Once completed, click Generate. The system will create multiple AI stage versions of the photo. Choose your favorite, click Ready for Export, then click Done. When finished editing, click Export, then click Export Listing. This adds the edited photos to your RSA listing file. These enhanced photos are now available in the Photos tab of your listing and can be easily identified by the AI Enhanced badge. To download them to your device, click Select, choose the desired photos, and click Download. Once downloaded, the images are saved and ready to use, whether for marketing materials, uploading to the MLS, or any other purpose. Congratulations, you've officially learned how to use the AI home design feature in RSA.
Pretty cool, right? So I want to just bring that. It's just one of the latest tools. We've got the integration with RPR. We've got the e-sign document. We've got the buyer tool. The more they build out, the more that you don't have to go out and buy third-party services. We even got a CRM that they're tuning up as well. So got a hand raise. Who raised their hand? Go ahead and unmute yourself while we have a sense, or put it in the chat. Okay. Anyway, let's think about this morning, and a request for all of our agents here in Houston. The kindness. We have a lot of when we're dealing with commissions, we're dealing with closings. Whether it be the broker line or the emails. Don and I are here to serve you. Cecilia doing the broker review. Crystal in the office. All of us are working hard. People back in Arizona. There's a team doing agent services, transaction services, closings. And a little bit of kindness goes a long ways. I know that a lot of times we can get pretty emotional about things and timing and be frustrated. I'm just asking that we all try a little bit harder, knowing that they're working their tail off over there, trying to make sure that we all get the things done, whether it be paid or get worked through a problem together. So they're on your team. And we've had a few lately where it's been they've been hurt or, a little bit rough. We want to make sure that everybody's that we're in the same team. All right. Ryan, you here today? I don't think Ryan's here today, but for those that have other agents that that may want to join HomeSmart or been thinking about it, there is a July recruiting what a promo going on right now. It's pretty fantastic. So if you want more information, reach out to me or Ryan, let you know. But there's 1,000 free business cards and a bunch of other stuff that right now started. It's pretty cool for people that want to join in the month of July. So more details on that to come, but there is a July promo for agents wanting to join HomeSmart. Robert, are you here today? I'm going to have this a lot. I know Don's here, so we'll get to Don in a second. Obviously, our HSI commercial team, some of you, we've had one recently that have been done commercial for years and years, had never known about HSI commercial, and there's a cap in the program. If you do a lot of commercial, the program gets a discount to CoStar, to LoopNet, has a team of support, a bunch of referral network, obviously some coverage with Robert leading the program in Georgia and Texas. But on top of that, there's a cap of $15,000 to HomeSmart. So if you're doing a lot of commercial, you're paying HomeSmart more than you should. You should check out HSI commercial because there is a cap for each year. This is our current HSI commercial team in Houston. That's Jeff Brokerage, Gaston Garrido, Atif Elias, and Aaron Wills. Make sure that you reach out to them as well when you have commercial referrals. They are experienced and they are awesome. So, okay. Our assistant broker, Don Leonard, you all have gotten to know him pretty well now over the last several months. And I think you have some talk about mentorship, Don.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of opportunity here for agents who either are newer and need some help, or maybe agents who have been out of the business for a little while and are getting back in. The mentorship program is really all about making sure that you understand the different departments inside of HomeSmart, who does what, who's here to help you, and in what situations, and then also, of course, how to use the platforms and the systems that we have, and then, of course, the production side of things, working with buyers, working with sellers, lead generation, lead conversion. It's really an all-inclusive program. It's a really a good overview, and then really with your mentor, it's an overview on the things that you do on your own, and then with your mentor, you really start digging into the things that are going to help you in this business. And so, of course, no upfront cost associated with this. It comes out of your first 3 transactions. We have been adding on new mentors. We need to add on mentees. We need people taking advantage of this program. It's there. We see a lot of situations where agents, we had one just the other day, somebody who actually started back in August of last year, and now they're getting ready to work on their very first deal and no idea, no clue as to what to do. The call was, what do I do? That is where mentorship comes in. And you don't want to wait until it happens before you learn how to do it. You learn how to do it before it happens, and then it makes a much more comfortable type of transaction for you and for the other side. So if you're interested in mentoring, and of course, we also have the ability to help you with one transaction. If you already are in the business and maybe just getting back in and you don't really need help on 3, that maybe you need help on 1. I just need to get acclimated to the new forms and things like that, then we have that available as well. So welcome to our new June mentee that we brought in, Javier Avion. And then also, after I did this slide, we've just added a new mentor. Congratulations to Yvonne Alvarez, who has just joined as a mentor. And she, and just like all the other mentors, are ready to go and waiting for people to just ask for help. All you have to do is reach out, and it's here.
Awesome. I think you did this from last month too. Yeah.
Yeah, we did, and a lot of them are still the same. Common mistakes that we're seeing in compliance that are going to be called, and things that are probably going to have to be taken care of using the old forms. Using the old forms, especially if it's the TREC promulgated forms, that's considered the unauthorized practice of law. You might not be familiar with that, but if there is a new promulgated form that is available for use, you're required to use that one. The old one is no longer available. Using a form that's no longer available for use is the unauthorized practice of law. None of us want to get in trouble with that. But typically where we're seeing it are the forms that you see there, the IABS, which just changed in April 1st, the requirement. It's been out since February, but we started having to use it in April. And then, of course, listing agreements, buyer representation agreements, the contract forms themselves, and maybe not even just the old forms, but sometimes now we're running into the wrong forms. We had somebody do a new home transaction using the TREC resales contract. We want to make sure that we're using the right one for the right purpose, because there are certain things that have to be disclosed in new homes. It's not going to be there in the resale, things like insulation and things like that. So we really want to make sure that we're using the right ones. The second one there, backdated documents. Backdated documents, we're seeing a lot of this. And of course, the reason why is because we have a lot of people who are not getting them signed when they need to be signed. The National Association of Realtors settlement says we have to have, this is not you should have, this is you have to have a written agreement with your buyer before you do any representational activities. That would include giving advice and opinion. It would include going out and showing property. And I would say probably close to 80% of our contracts or transactions are not having that. It's where people are going back later after the fact, getting that buyer representation agreement signed at that point and backdating it to make it look like that they actually got it done sooner. Timestamps give you away. And so we can tell that you really did not do it at the right time. If we can tell, you know who else can tell? The National Association of Realtors, if they come and audit us, or if another lawsuit, God forbid, another lawsuit hit and they start checking documents, they're going to see it again. And this is my own personal opinion. Next time, the companies are not going to be the ones to take it on the chin. It's going to be the agents who created the problem. Do your documents right. Number 3, missing addenda, missing initials or signatures. If all signatures are not there, if all initials are not there, then there's a question as to whether or not you have that offer and acceptance, one of the things that we have to have in order to have a fully enforceable contract. So make sure you're getting all the initials on every single page. Make sure you're getting all the signatures that need to be there. Having a listing in the MLS without a listing agreement. That one's pretty rare. Every once in a while we see, and that's obviously a violation of MLS rules too. You have to have a written agreement before you can put anything in MLS. So make sure you're doing that. Not creating a transaction file until the day of closing. I would say even 2 or 3 days before closing. That's not enough time. Things need to be loaded within 5 days after you create them. You should be loading. There should be at least 3 times where you're loading stuff into RSA. When you create agency, IABS, listing agreement, buyer representation agreement, tenant representation agreement. As soon as you create those, that's when you need to go and create that file for RSA and load those things in. Then the next time you should be loading things in is when you actually go under contract to buy or sell. Then you've got your sales contract, you've got your addenda, you've got all that. And then along the way, amendments and all the changes that are taking place need to be in. And then at the very end of the agreement, or at the very end of the transaction, that's where you need to load up the rest of the stuff that you haven't loaded so you can get your CDA. It's actually a simple process. You just need to do it in a timely manner. Compensation confusion still going on. Not getting a 2402 when we need one. Double adding in 2 places, the contract or the listing agreement. It's going to typically be one or the other. In the listing agreement, it says it right there. Fill in either 5A or 5B. There's no way it can be both. 5A is if the seller is paying enough that we as the listing company is sharing something with the selling company. That's 5A. First blank, total commission. Second blank, how much is being shared with the selling side. 5B is only used if the seller is just paying enough to pay us, not paying anything to the other side. So there's no way it can be both. It can't be they're paying us enough to share and they're not paying us enough to share. It can't be both. Got to be one or the other. And in your contract, 12A1B, if the seller is paying it direct, page 10 and the 2402, if the listing company is sharing with the selling company. And I know it's the language that throws people, because yes, if you boil it down to its simplest form, the seller is paying it on both sides. It's still coming from the seller. But the question is it passing through the listing broker first? If it's not passing through the listing broker first, it goes in the body of the contract. If it's passing through the listing broker, it goes on page 10 and the 2402. We try to find all these different ways of trying to describe this to make sure that everybody gets it. And hopefully somewhere along the way, one of them will catch and go, oh, all of a sudden, okay, I get it.
Yep. April said, thank you for the clarification. April, there's a flow chart in download section of Real Smart Agent that explains this really well. And we've got videos on this that we'll post again and again on Facebook and, of course, in this room. So we got this for you, but just check it out. It's a nice flow chart. This and that. The biggest thing we get for agents that haven't seen this, especially in the body of the paragraph, because if they don't read the full context when it says seller costs, and it goes on to say that the buyer has agreed to pay. Because ultimately, you have an agreement with your buyer that owes you for your time. Your buyer tenant rep agreement. And then 12A1B says the seller is paying X amount towards what the buyer has been obligated to pay. You're transferring the obligation from the buyer to the seller. But the wording of it confuses a lot of agents. And so that's all it's saying is we're asking the seller to pay what the buyer has already been obligated to pay the buyer's agent. So you're removing that.
They need to take that line and just move it further up into that paragraph where it's closer to where it says seller's expenses.
Exactly.
So moved it further up. I think maybe that would clear up some confusion, but I don't think there's any plan to do that.
And then one more addition to what Don's talking about too is it's not trying to scare us. We have to understand that we have a fiduciary duty in the state of Texas to our client. And when you think about what does that mean, right? We put their interest above our own. what does that mean when it comes to picking forms and using the proper forms, right? We're told all the time we can't practice law, but in these instances of whether we fill in the prepared forms or the forms we pick and use, we're held to the level of that attorney of malpractice in the job we do. So it's our license, and the license of the brokerage obviously are at risk when we're doing it. That's why we have to know our forms and use the most current forms and use them properly. So that's kind of want to make it very clear. It's why we harp on you on this, because it's important for you and your livelihood. So, Don?
Yeah, we just want to keep everybody out of trouble.
Yep.
The nugget of wisdom, market area on the buyer or the tenant representation agreement. We've had a lot of instances where either it's not clearly defined, which is what the Real Estate Commission says it has to be, that it has to be clearly defined as to where, as an agent, we are willing to work with an individual. We're getting a lot of them that are left completely blank, where there's no market area defined at all, and then a lot of them where it's not really clearly defined. So like it says, it has to leave no question as to whether or not this particular property that you end up working with falls into that market area or not. And one of the ones that I see a lot, that we see a lot, that leaves room for interpretation, if you will, is directionals. Northwest Harris County. Somebody define, where does Northwest Harris County begin and where does it end? There's no sign that says you are now entering Northwest Harris County. So you have to be able to, it has to be clearly defined. Like it says, Houston area, that's not clearly defined. Where does that begin? Where does that end? Greater Houston, Northwest Harris County, even Houston itself, by writing in Houston, even that could leave interpretation. Are we talking about anything that's a mailing address, Houston, anything inside the Houston city limits? There's a lot of different things it could be, and it needs to be something that it is. It clearly is or is not. And then, of course, the other one that we see is where we're taking in too much. State of Texas. We see state of Texas a lot. So the Real Estate Commission says, yes, your license can be used anywhere in the state of Texas, but let's be honest. Are you going to be able to do a real estate transaction anywhere in the state of Texas? Because that's what you're representing to that buyer, that you are willing to drive out to Podunk, Texas, and do a transaction with them out there. And even if you could, which you can't because of competency issues, you're not going to be willing to do that. So we need to make sure that the market area is clearly defined. I like to use counties because for me, county is a geographic boundary. You're never going to be in two counties at once. And so I use county. And the one that I always use is, I've always told my agents to use Harris and the adjacent counties. So that's Harris County and every county that touches Harris County. And so that gives you, if you count them, I think it's 7 or 8 more. That's a pretty big area. And so that's what I've always used. And that's what I've always encouraged my agents to use when I own my own companies. That's what we use. But whatever it is that you use, just make sure that it's clearly defined, where nobody can come along later and say, oh, wait a minute, this property doesn't fit in this area. And remember, the other good thing about market area is that it's one of the ways that you can make a buyer feel more comfortable signing this thing before you go out and show property like we're supposed to do. Because you're asking, and we talk about this all the time, that the issue with trying to get a buyer representation agreement or even a tenant representation agreement signed, it's like asking somebody to marry you before you've even dated. You haven't had an opportunity to commit. You're asking them to commit to you, and you haven't even had the opportunity to prove yourself to them. And so to try to make this buyer or tenant feel a little more comfortable with that, we can limit the market area to as small as one address. And so, yeah, as an agent, you're taking the risk here. We can limit it by time, or we can limit it by market. All right, buyer, we're going to go out and look at 5 houses today. So we're going to list these 5 houses as the market area. That way, on any of them, I would be your representative, which means I can give you my advice. I can give you my opinion. I can do all those things that an agent can do, should do. I can do them, but I can't do them until you hire me. And this is how you hire me to do it. So you can limit it either by area, market area, or by time. I always like time better. I try to do 2 weeks. If I'm going to have to take the risk, if a buyer's not ready to commit to me immediately, I ask for 2 weeks. Sign this for 2 weeks. In the next 2 weeks, I'll show you anything you want to see. I'll be your agent for the next 2 weeks. At the end of 2 weeks, we'll sit down and go over this again. We'll either, if you think I've done a good job and you want to continue to work with me, we'll do an amendment, TXR 1505, and we'll extend it for a longer period of time. But market area is one of the ways that you can do that also.
Awesome. And there's an update later on that will kind of tweak this a bit coming, but that's good. Thanks, Don.
Always is.
Awesome. Thanks, Don, for sharing. That's really good wisdom. Because oftentimes it's just like, okay, let's try it out. Let's see where we're going here. So agents obviously want to celebrate our agents first. There's lots of news and updates I want to bring to you after this as well. So our top teams for the month of June, the Royal Elite Realty Group is leading the way, followed by Portillo Realty Group, the Bay Area Group, Hive House Realty Group, and Red Bird, I misspelled that, sorry, Catherine, Real Estate Professionals team, and their team leaders there. So in the month of June, congratulations to all of you for a great month. Top teams in volume, we know that's the total dollar amount of the houses sold. Royal Elite Realty Group, Hive House Realty Group, Portillo Realty Group, the Bay Area Group, and the Redbird Real Estate Professionals team. In just different orders, but nicely done, all of you. Our top agents, and this is for sales units, the number of homes sold in the month of June. Sharon Hensley leads the way. Nice job, Sharon. Lizette, Eric, Jessica, Henry, Julius, William, Claudia, Tracy, and Michelle round out the top 10 for the month of June. This is our hot time of the year, obviously summer. And sales volume, this is the size of the house. Timothy O'Neill is doing a lot of commercial stuff. So if you look there, he's had a killer month of June. So nice job, Tim. Dana, Sharon, Don, Lizette, Douglas, Batul, Amir, Jessica, and David ran out the top 10 for the month of June. Congratulations. We like to keep track of what's going on for the year. And if you're looking at numbers of where people were last year, where people are this year, we've gone through 6 months, so half a year right now. Lizette's leading the way with 29 closings in 6 months. Sheena, Tracy, Eves, all the way down to Douglas, between 11. So you can kind of measure how you're doing. That's a lot of transactions in a short period of time, especially starting the year off. So congratulations to all of you as you're leading the board through the month of June. And then, of course, volume. This is crazy, too. Like I said, Tim O'Neill had a giant month. So volume-wise, I think 25 million was one of them. So crazy. Lizette, Tracy, Ignacio, Travis, Sheena, Ramiz, Eves, Faraya, and Maria. That's 1 month's worth of volume. That's really fantastic. So 5 million to 26 million. All right. And then last but not least, just to keep track, as we track our Diamond Awards at the end of the year, last year we had just under 80, I think, that qualified for 100,000 or more in GCI. As you can see, the top 10 we have between 133 and 564,000 through 6 months. That's take-home pay for them. So that's fantastic for all of you, Timothy, and so forth. So encourages us all to round out the year strong. So good job, everybody. All right. A couple things. We saw a mid-year policy update. Several of these are all in the agent's favor. We had some discussions around some policies that we came down on a certain way for a good reason, for E&O insurance purposes or whatever, but it was restrictive for our agents in a way that was harmful to your business. And so corporate got together with all the market leaders, including myself, talked about policy changes and rolled out a mid-year policy change, which is unusual, but we want to make sure that all of these obviously are in your favor. So one was agent acting in a dual role. So if you are an accountant, if you're a lender, if you're an inspector, if you're whatever it is, and you're a realtor in the same transaction, there's a disclosure obligation there, but used to not be allowed. Of course, now it is. Telemarketing rules have changed and been updated. We'll go over that. Sale of agent-owned properties. We talked about this last month, but that policy's been updated. So if you own your own property, you can sell your own property no matter how you own it. Double escrows. We're seeing a lot of these wholesaler. We're seeing this that were previously not allowed. Well, there's policy around that. Obviously, commission plan changes, some clarification, change requests, and of course, the referral policy when you're referring your buyers to a vendor, whether it be a lender or inspector or whatever. The policy is to refer 3 to keep you out of trouble as well. So quickly through this, the policy here is acting agent in a dual role. Agents may act as both a real estate agent and a loan officer in the same transaction, so long as doing so does not violate any applicable local, state, or federal law or statute. Disclosure of the agent's roles in any material relationship must be made in writing, including in the purchase contract or the appropriate addendum. If the agent's representing one party as a real estate agent and providing loan services to the other party in the same transaction, written consent from both the buyer and the seller is required in addition to the disclosure. So once again, that's kind of, you have a fiduciary duty as a realtor to one side, and yet you have a duty to the buyer on the other side doing the loan. It's a conflict, so you need to have everything in writing, but we're allowing that as a company. Telemarketing rules. We want to make sure that we're compliant with the non-spam, do not call list rules. There is a training in all of our onboarding now about TPCA. It's a federal statute that we have to follow about not cold calling, if you will, people on the do not call list. You should check your list against that. It prohibits telemarketing to numbers that are on the list. We have to make sure we're scrubbing our list with it, and people add their number to the list all the time. We also have to get written consent using an auto dialer to send a telemarketing text. So any of the spam texts we all get, this is all crazy as well. So not. Oh, yeah. I'm assuming we're going to create the form for our agents. But yeah. How to avoid. Do not call before 8 a.m. or after 9 p.m. local time. Exclude residential numbers on the national do not call list. Exclude residential numbers on your own do not call list. Exclude cell, mobile, and smartphones from automated call, text, or voicemails unless the call party has already given you prior express written consent, particularly in the case of telemarketing. Including a mandatory disclosure, disclose the name of the caller, the company in which the call originates, and the phone number or address which they can be reached. Do not make telemarketing calls using an automatic dialing system without prior express written consent. And set up calling equipment to disconnect within 15 seconds or 4 rings of an unanswered telemarketing call. I know that we're all finding ways to create more business, but you got to stay out of trouble. This is a federal law about the do not call. So this is more information for you is in your Real Smart Agent dashboard. All right. Sale of your own property. Before, like I said, we weren't allowing people that own property in an entity. We've changed that. The agent is permitted to list or sell real property in which the agent has an ownership interest. Agent acknowledges that any such transaction may increase the risk of claims, disputes, or legal actions in the event of any claim, demand, or cause of action arises out of or relates to the agent-owned property sale. Agents shall be solely responsible for payment of any deductible required by HomeSmart's E&O insurance. So just make sure you understand that. That's the only thing we allow it, but make sure you're communicating with me and Don. Make sure that you are clear that if you have your own property, you disclose that you're the owner, and you cannot be a dual agent. You cannot be an intermediary when you have our principal of the deal. It's your property. And we have a lot of, I can do both. Well, no, you can't, because now you cannot be unbiased. We see that quite a bit. Double escrows, a new policy. Agents are permitted to participate in double escrow closings, wholesale, or assignment transactions only where such practices are legal and compliant with local, federal, state, and local laws. Agents are solely responsible for understanding and adhering to laws governing these type of transactions. We're seeing a lot more of these, and they're confusing because the reason we weren't allowing these before is, let's say that I'm working with a short seller. Who actually am I have a relationship with? Do I have a relationship with the buyer, the seller, or do I have a relationship with the wholesaler? And that they're trying to transfer that obligation, the rights to the contract, to somebody else that we don't have a buyer-tenant rep agreement with. So make sure you understand wholesaling very well and double escrows before you get into it, because you're responsible for it. All right. Couple things here. Commission plan changes. When, like we did last year, HomeSmart rolled out the brand new the 4 choices for your plans across the board. We had a lot of discussion around when a transaction starts and when it closes. And basically the clarification based on the plan you're on at the time the property closed is the plan you close on. We've had some sales start 2 years before commercial wise and close 2 years later. The 2 year later, when the plan you're on, when it closes, is the plan you get charged on. So make sure we're all very clear on that. And the last thing is if you want to change plans, you can change plans at any point in time between A, B, C, and D. Throughout the thing, you have to reach out to agent services, do a plan change request, but 90 days is the day. So you say you want to make a plan change today, it goes into effect 90 days later, allows the things that you have currently pending to close. So make sure that you understand on the 91st day, you'll be on the new plan. And then the refer 3. Should an agent be asked by a customer or client to provide a referral for an outside vendor, the agent shall provide a minimum of 3 vendors: contractors, lenders, title companies, inspectors, home warranties, and so forth. If agent refers a customer or client to provider, agent represents, warrants, or covenants and agrees to terms outlined in the following paragraphs. Bottom line is do your best to say, hey, these are not people that I'm vouching for, but these are people that I've worked with or whatever. Here's 3 that you could call, and you have to do due diligence. We're the source of the source. And if you're working with somebody, obviously you have to disclose that. But our policy is you should be referring 3. All right. Don and I are trying to build our Facebook internal group. I think we're about 350 now. I think it's done. Out of 1,600 agents. So if you haven't joined our Facebook group yet, please do so. We post a lot of activities, a lot of events there, lots of information. And Don's broker line question of the day is awesome. So you don't want to miss that. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. The 2025 Texas State Legislature took up a lot of different issues. There's going to be a lot of things as far as on the constitutional amendments on the ballot this year that will go into effect in 2026. There are many of these bills that we're talking about will go into effect September 1 of this year. But the things that affect us as real estate agents that they gave us a heads up for, that TREC will be working with us to create forms for, is there's no longer any sub-agency in the state of Texas. Since we have to represent a party in the transaction, either we represent the seller or represent the buyer, or there's intermediary where we are that neutral third party, if you will, or one party is unrepresented. There is no sub-agency. You're no longer a sub-agent of the seller because you have to have a buyer-tenant rep with the buyer. So that has gone away, which it makes obvious sense, but they've removed that terminology from ongoing paperwork. And then what I said to Don earlier is they have created or will be creating a new showing form in response to as the market develops and we deal with this buyer-tenant rep agreement. You will still have to have a buyer-tenant rep agreement signed before you show a property, but they're coming out with a showing agreement that does not establish agency. It allows a 14-day period to date, as Don was talking about, where you have an agreement in place to show properties in an area that's similar that doesn't establish agency. There's a problem with that. Don and I have discussed this, because if you don't have agency, do you still have protection for procuring costs? Do you have protection in those type of things? We don't know yet. We'll see it when the form comes out. But it may be a way to gain the trust of your buyer clients in the meantime before signing the 1501 in the future. But that's coming out in September is what I was told. Okay. They passed a law as well, creating a new category of associated broker. More details to come from the Texas Association of Realtors and from TREC on this. But it's essentially brokers, people that have a broker's license that are associated with the broker. Right now you have people that buy address only. They're in the firm, but now it will be associated broker under a broker, if you will. So make it more clear that if they have a broker's license, but they are serving in a brokerage like me, Don and I, it would be an associated broker in that case while he was here. Just clarity for the public. That's what it is. It's transparency. And they've increased the homestead exemption. So it's going to go from where it is now to $140,000 for Texas citizens. and $200,000 for people 65 and older. So that should help lower property taxes. All right. They're going to be a capital gains tax coming in 2026, capital gains tax ban in 2026. A couple of things that are going to affect us as real estate goes as well in large cities. So all the like Dallas, Houston, Austin, and so forth. The current standard for developmental lot in the cities areas was 5,000 square feet. They're going to reduce that to 3,000 square feet, allowing bigger and more development and smaller lots in the urban cities. And then lastly, I thought this was really cool is they passed a bill to create a fund for $8.5 billion to address regional workforce needs. Basically, they're going to expand money to bring on training for plumbers, electricians, or whatever, which are aging out of the industry, which will be great for us as real estate agents because we know lots of money, good income, high-paying jobs, lots of training coming in, so people are going to need someplace to live. So it's good to know, and they're investing a lot of money to do that. And then something that came out of the legislative update was, I did not know this, but for all of you, currently there are 1,200 people a day moving to Texas. So we are growing fast. So we have 1,200 opportunities every single day to help someone buy a home here in Texas, right? Or rent a place. That is quite a bit. So there is hope and a bright future. Okay. Couple events I wanted to share with you guys. Obviously, July 12th is our summer agent appreciation event. I'm hyping this up because we have got Lifetime Fitness over here in Greenway Plaza. We rented out the upstairs, the rooftop pool. We've got the cabanas for food and for sunshade, and we got some food and drinks and so forth. And we have access to the entire gym. Once we get there, we have a day pass basically for everybody that comes. So make sure you sign up so we know how much food to buy and be ready. Obviously, our Growth Summit coming up in October and our holiday party, we are actively planning for our December 11th holiday party already in the middle of summer. So I want to say that we went to, for our elite group, we went to the Astros game for our second quarter elite group. That was a lot of fun for those that could make it and came out to the game. The Astros beat the Phillies, so we're happy about that. And it was a good time at the ballpark. And then, of course, the next day we had a coffee donuts with a broker. It was a small turnout, but it was a good turnout. Great conversation. These are always great. Where basically pick a coffee shop somewhere in the region, invite the agents that live in the area, and we come around and network and talk. That's all it is. And so thanks, Claudia and Vara and Jeff, for coming out. It was a good time here locally by the Galleria office. Again, register for the summer event. You're gonna love it. Fast. October's gonna be here before we know it. The 25th anniversary of HomeSmart, like I said, we're growing. Tickets, you get registered and get your hotel room. Clock hours, okay. We do a free clock hour class every second Wednesday, as we talked about before. Here's the remaining schedule for the rest of the year. We're doing all about the addenda on July 9th. We're talking about foundations on the 13th. Presentations with Canva on the September. Condominiums on the October class. Investing on the November class, and negotiation styles. They're all going to be held in person and hybrid both. They're in a really, really nice training room there off the Katy Freeway. Here's the class. Make sure there are slots available. We have about, 15 or so, 20 slots available for our CE class next week, this coming Wednesday. Sure, sign up. They got free food. We got sponsors. We got a free lunch being provided to us. Like I said, a really nice training room, and it's free clock hours that you can use for renewal or learning. And as Don says, with all the changes that have come down, the addenda are super important to understand, and it's nice to have this opportunity. Here's our foundations class, and of course, our the rest of the year. And then next year, we're going to start off killing it with, we're going to do a series of classes starting off in 2026 that cover all the classes that are standard for your license renewal. So, and we'll do that in probably in the first 6 weeks of 2026, working with our partners. I'm looking forward to that as well. Kind of hey, let's get it all done and get it behind us. One of our HomeSmart agents sent this over yesterday. For those that know, so a lot of you guys do a lot of different things. You have your own businesses. You have a full-time job. One of our agents opened up this health spa scan clinic, and she wanted to offer any of our HomeSmart agents a free DEXA scan. Basically, it's going to tell you how much body fat you have, how much bone density you have, and so forth. So there's a QR code if you want it. They're offering 100 free DEXA scans in spring, and it's what Brittany Johnson, one of our agents, is doing this as well as part of her family business. So there you go, a little perk for you. I wanted to go over this. We have time this week, this month, I should say. I'm going to stop sharing this one here and share this one instead. All right, here. Okay. Now, this is one of our Home Smart agents back east. We talked last month about how to grow your business in different ways. A very simple way that's proven really helpful for India Hall is to develop your Google, basically your Google. I'll get it right here. Okay. You grow your business by your profile in Google. So set up your free Google business profile. And so what India has done is she's done this and then reached out to all of her clients, her past clients or current clients, and asked them to give her a 5-star review. And then so she posts a bunch of 5-star reviews and promotes and fills out her Google profile, and has created all of her business energy. She's killing it with this one tool. And then she's expanding upon that as she goes along. But she wanted to share that with all of the Home Smart agents. And it's pretty awesome. So basically, you expand customer visibility, build business credibility, increase revenue, narrate to your audience, and overcome location barriers. So 4 easy steps. This is a link I'll share with everybody that she said it's for free. But to set up if you haven't done it yet, you can set up your Google business profile, which I have not done yet. But you would go to google.com, maps, click open the menu by hitting the button at the top left corner of the page. Click on add your business. Log into Google if you haven't done it already. Your sign in. We have Google email here. So add your business down here. Once again, I'll share this with everybody. Start building your business profile. It says enter your business name and business category. You can put XXX after your business name or what you use service area. And then whatever it is, you kind of walk you through sort of, okay, here's your business profile. Here's your name. Add your business area. Continue to build your business profile by says add your business location. It says, do you want to add a location? And you say yes. Enter your business address. It says, do not accept the currently listed business unless it really is yours. So basically, you want to add where you do business. And then you continue to build your business profile. So do you provide deliveries or home office visits? And of course, you do as agents. You deliver CMAs all the time. You go to home. So yes, you deliver and provide home visits. And then you provide the areas you serve in. And then you continue to develop, use a forwarding number to protect your spam and sales. So you want a phone number and a website. You can do a website really easy, or you can do a Google number to make sure you stay away from spam, but you want a way for people to contact you. There's some tips in here about using Linktree or whatever to build a cheap landing page. And you continue to build it down here with a verification number, add services you provide, your business hours, and then add messaging if you want for people that can contact you through that number. And then basically you have to be detailed in what you provide and how you provide it. And if she does like the best realtor, the best service, and so forth. And then right here, add a bunch of photos to your profile. It says show your space, show your work, show your products, show your customers, show your awards, show your results. Her tip is to potential customers want to see who you are and what they can expect from you. The more photos you have, the busier you look, and the longer they will spend on your profile. This is your opportunity to sell to them. Remember, first impressions are everything. So we're looking, oftentimes people will Google you first. And so if you have a Google profile that is fully complete and shows that you are a top agent, it's going to go a long way. And of course, you can skip the advertising, skip the domain names. You can build your own domain name and point it towards the site or point this towards your domain name. You have to verify your business profile, which may take anywhere from a few days to a few weeks. So be patient. And then optimize your profile by requesting people to give you reviews, 5-star reviews, post updates every week, have an offer that expires, post keywords, Use keywords in your Q&A and write reviews on other businesses. It's like social media in many ways to get your Google profile to come up top of the search menu. And then, of course, here she says that if it's helpful, you can review this at any point in time. But for her, it is killing it. And if you want to donate to India, you can. So just a little tip that it looks very simple, but it's one of those things that most of us, I would bet, have not yet, and it's a free service to do. So if you want to grow your business, make yourself look more professional, and do something that's cost effective, meaning free, that's paying literally dividends of 4 or 5 customers a month for India, we should do that. So there's a little tip for you. Stop sharing that, and I'll share that again in the email and the follow-up when we go out. All right. Any last things, Don, for the group? For you?
Nope, don't think so.
Okay. Any questions from anybody for either of us besides letting you go early and wishing you a happy Independence Day weekend? Okay, Jeanette, go ahead.
Okay. Have any of y'all heard about a reserve system scheduled maintenance on July 10th to the July 13th? And I got a notice from my American Express account that said no wiring funds in, no wiring funds out. And it's a Federal Reserve System scheduled maintenance. That means if we have any closings, that's going to affect funding. It's going to affect, well, it's going to affect getting funds. It's going to affect sending funds out to, sellers.
I have not, but I will research it and get something out to the agents. Maria, do you have something on that? Maria? Nope.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. Yeah. So, how do you guys feel about using that one-page buyer representation agreement?
Yeah.
Like, not for just showing one day, or just using that to represent the buyer till the end.
Yeah, we require the long. I'm going to mute you. Okay, we require the long form, the 1501, because it provides protection for procuring cause and indemnity. So if someone gets hurt while you're showing the property, you can't be sued. With the short form, there's no protection for the agent or the brokerage for that. There's no protection for you getting your commission if that buyer ends up paying for it. So the short form should only be used on very rare occasions, and we will require that you replace it with the 1501. So start with the 1501. We know that you're trying to save time, but what the 1507 says is that the buyer's already read the 1501, basically the language in it, and they're agreeing to full services. So it adds ambiguity. This is another reason why they're coming out with a new form, that 14-day showing period that will have better language in it to replace it because there's enough problem with it. So how we feel about it is we don't allow it. We've seen a lot of it being used, and we're trying to help people know that we're trying to protect you and your license and your commission by requiring the 1501. All right. Looks like Kimla. Nellie, you're next.
Okay, thank you. This really quick. So I had a couple, okay, and this is about the rep agreement. I had a couple. The wife wanted to see a house, right? So the husband, it wasn't ready to, start looking at homes. Said, well, before I show you a home, I have to have a rep agreement. And she was like, well, go ahead and send it under my name. So I did send it under her name. We went look at some homes. And then the husband ended up showing up at the homes as well, right? Even though he wasn't ready. So then I said, okay, fine. So then now they're ready to move forward with an offer. So what I did, instead of doing an amendment, because the husband has never seen the rep agreement, the long forms rep agreement, I went ahead and did a full new contract under both names. Is that okay for compliance purposes? Even though I show the home already under the wife's name with that rep agreement? Does it make sense?
It does. You basically had a new rep agreement with both of them, and when you wrote the offer, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine with that. You had one with the wife. The husband showed up. You didn't know that. You still had an agreement to show. Don, you have any question with that?
No, it would probably be good to load both of them into RSA, and then maybe even in the newer one in special provisions, put that this one replaces the other one because we added in a new buyer. That way, if it's backdated, which probably would be, then it explains why it's backdated, and compliance won't pull it out and say, "Hey, wait a minute, the signature dates don't match up with the date on the document."
Yep,
that makes sense.
Okay, it makes sense. Is the thing is I already sent it for them to sign, so I'll have to retrieve the document. But okay, it makes sense. Thank you.
Perfect.
That okay, Marty? You think that's all right?
Yep. Once again, just upload all you have. If you have anything signed, we want a copy of it, right? So you're good.
I have it. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Michael?
Hey, Marty. So I was wondering at the house that I was buying, the seller is also the builder, but in the contract is only his name. But I noticed that he is married, though. Should I add also the wife? Should I ask the other agent?
You should ask how the seller owns a property, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Because if they own it, obviously, in the business, maybe it's different. If it's owned by him, it's a community property state. So unless he owned it beforehand, yeah. So the wife's going to have to sign. So yes. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
It's a good question. All right. Well, anything else, Mr. Bill? You're good? All right. What is the form number for the listing extension? That's 1404. Okay. Anybody else?
Marty and Don,
Yeah.
I have a question, and it's on it's more of like confusion, I guess, in trying to understand it. A transaction I just not too long ago, where I had to experience the buyer rep agreement amount. Well, I'll put it like this: the amount the buyer was going to pay me was that, say, 3%. Okay, and then they did a new home. The actual builder was paying 4%. So I went in, did the amendment, and we amended the buyer's part to put it at 4% because it has to match. Correct. That still confuses me because I'm trying to figure out, why do we have to do that part if the buyer is not actually paying me?
Yeah, because the way the language, the contracts is now, that the seller is covering the buyer's obligation. So you cannot receive more than the buyer's obligated to pay you. So if the seller's going to give you 4, they can't give you more than the buyer said. The buyer's going to give you 3, and the seller give you 4. You can only receive 3. So if you want 4, the buyer now has to have a greater obligation to owe you 4, so the seller can cover that greater amount.
Okay. Okay, that's kind of how I explained it, because they didn't even know. They were like, "Why do I have to sign this if they're gonna?" And I was like, "It's complicated, but."
It is complicated, but it is that they've limited what you can make based on what your buyer tenant rep says. And so if you're going to make more, you need to, or less for that matter, you have to amend it to match, because what you're doing is transferring the buyer's obligation to the builder or the seller.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Has to approve you making more.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
I mean, we should go the opposite direction too, because, if you're going to make less, that one sometimes seems to make even less sense. It's like, why should I, if I'm taking less, why in the world should I have to go to the buyer and get that change? But if you don't,
Absolutely.
because